Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome to the annual stockholders meeting of Santa Lucia Land Incorporated being conducted via video conference. May I kindly request all participants to keep their microphones on mute. We shall start the proceedings with an opening prayer and the Philippine national anthem. We'll start with an opening prayer. In the name of the Father, Son, the Holy Spirit. Let's put ourselves in the presence of the Lord. Lord, thank you for this gathering of leaders of Santa Lucia Land, our stockholders, officers, and leaders. Please bless our meeting. Please bless our company. Please bless our people and our customers, because all this we do in your mighty name. Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, to the Holy Spirit. As to us the beginning, is now, never shall be, world without end. In the name of the Father, Son, the Holy Spirit. May I request everyone to please stand as we sing the Philippine national anthem.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Kayang magiliw, helas ang sinakalan, alam ng puso, sa titik mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyag ka ng magiting, sa mandulupin, di ka pasisingil, sa nagagang tutok sa simoy at sa langit bagaw, ay hinagang tulad, awit sa pagkayang minamahal. Ang isang ng matawad mo'y nagumpay na nag-iindig, ang bituin at araw niya kailan ang ay di magtitingin. Luman ang araw ng walhabing pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling mo. Ang inigaya na pagkay mga api, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Yes, you may proceed to sit down, ladies and gentlemen. We shall now proceed to begin the meeting proper. We welcome our chairman, Mr. Vicente R. Santos. Mr. Chairman.
Good morning, everyone. To safeguard the interest of the stockholders and participants of today's meeting, the annual stockholders meeting is online-only event. On behalf of the Board of Directors and Management of Santa Lucia Land, Inc., I wish to extend my warmest welcome and appreciation for the participation of our stockholders at today's annual stockholders meeting. Joining us today's meeting are the directors and officers of the corporation: Vicente Santos, Chairman; Exequiel D. Robles, President; David De La Cruz, Executive Vice President, CFO, and Chief Risk Officer; Marisa Santos Tan, Treasurer; Aurora D. Robles, Assistant Treasurer; Patricia Bunyi, Corporate Secretary; Attorney Eric D. Kipching, Assistant Corporate Secretary; Attorney Crystal Prado, Assistant Corporate Secretary; Mr. Jeremiah Pampolina, Chief Sustainability Officer, Chief Compliance Officer, and Vice President for Investor Relations and Corporate Planning; and Ms. Hanani Palmon, VP Controller and Data Protection Officer. The directors are Vicente Santos, Exequiel Robles, Antonio D. Robles, Aurora D. Robles, Simeon S. Cua, Marisa Santos Tan, Orestes Star Santos, Danilo A. Antonio, and Justice Renato C. Francisco. I will now call the meeting to order. The first order of business is the certification of the Secretary of the sending of due notice to all the stockholders of the corporation and the determination of the existence of a quorum. May I request the Secretary to please certify to the proper sending of notice and existence of a quorum consistent with the corporation bylaws?
Mr. Chairman, purposes of this annual stockholders meeting, notice is hereby given that the proceedings are being recorded in accordance with the Anti-Wiretapping Act in relation to FEC Memorandum Circular Number 6, Series of 2020. Accordingly, I hereby certify that notices of today's annual stockholders meeting have been published in the business section of two newspapers of general circulation, the Philippine Star and the Philippine Daily Inquirer, and online in Inquirer and Business World on May 20 and 29, 2026, respectively, in print and online format, in compliance with the FEC notice dated March 11, 2026. Moreover, electronic copies of the notice of today's meeting, information statement, and management report and annual report are available on the corporation's website and have been disclosed on PSEN. Further, I have examined all proxies on file and the list of stockholders present at today's meeting. On the basis of my examination, I certify that out of the total number of shares outstanding as of May 15, 2026, the holders of 1,429,997 shares are present through remote communication, while the holders of 6,701,005,767 shares are present by proxy, for a total of 6,702,435,764 shares registered as present. This represents 80.7868% of the total outstanding shares. Therefore, Mr. Chairman, I certify that a quorum is present for the transaction of business by the stockholders.
Thank you, Ms. Secretary. I hereby declare the existence of a quorum. Pursuant to Section 49 of the Revised Corporation Code, may I request the Secretary to please discuss the materials, information on the current stockholders and their voting rights?
Mr. Chairman, based on the list of stockholders as of May 15, 2026, prepared by the corporation's stock transfer agent, there are 264 stockholders of the corporation. With regard to their voting rights, at each meeting of the stockholders, every stockholder shall be entitled to vote in person or by proxy through remote communication or in absentia for each share of stock held by him which has voting power upon the matter in question. A majority of the subscribed capital present in person or represented by proxy shall be sufficient to constitute a quorum for the election of directors and for the transaction of any business whatsoever, except in those cases in which the revised corporation code requires the affirmative vote of a greater portion. A description of the voting procedure for the election of directors and, except upon demand by any stockholder, the votes upon any question before the meeting, except for the procedural questions determined by the chairman of the meeting, is available on the corporation's website. A description of stockholders' voting rights was included in the definitive information statement of the corporation, copies of which are available in the corporation's website or on PSE Edge.
Thank you, Ms. Secretary. We shall proceed to the next item in the agenda. The next item on the agenda is the review and approval of the minutes of the special stockholders meeting held last August 12, 2025. Copies of the said minutes are available on the corporation's website. May I request the Secretary to discuss the proposed resolution and voting result for this agenda item?
Mr. Chairman, the adoption of the resolution being flashed on the screen is being proposed. Of the votes cast, 100% of the shares represented in the meeting voted in favor of the resolution. Therefore, Mr. Chairman, the resolution is approved.
Thank you, Ms. Secretary. We shall proceed to the next item in the agenda. The next item on the agenda is the report of the Board of Directors. May I now call our Chief Compliance Officer, Mr. Jeremiah Pampolina, to present the report on the Board of Directors.
Mr. Chairman, the profiles and qualifications of the directors were included in the definitive information statement of the corporation, copies of which are available on the company's website or on PSE Edge. For the year 2025-2026, the meetings held were as follows. Annual Stockholders Meeting, June 20, 2025. Organizational Meeting, Board of Directors, June 20, 2025. Special Meeting of the Board of Directors, July 4, 2025. Special Stockholders Meeting, August 12, 2025. Special Meeting of the Board of Directors, August 12, 2025. and special meeting of the Board of Directors, September 18, 2025. The attendance report of the Board of Directors is as follows. Vicente R. Santos, 6. Exequiel Robles, 6. Marisa Santos Tan, 6. Aurora D. Robles, 6. Antonio D. Robles, 6. Simeon S. Cua, 6. Orestes R. Santos, 6. Danilo A. Antonio, 6. And retired Court of Appeals Justice Renato C. Francisco, 6 meetings. With respect to committee meetings, the Audit Committee held 3 meetings, and the Corporate Governance Committee held 1 meeting for the year 2025-2026. Meetings attended as follows. Audit Committee, Danilo A. Antonio, 2 meetings, Vicente R. Santos, 3 meetings, Renato C. Francisco, 3, and Oreste R. Santos, 3 meetings. For the Corporate Governance Committee meeting, Renato C. Francisco, 1 meeting, Danilo A. Antonio, 1 meeting, and Vicente R. Santos, 1 meeting. The related party transactions involving the Board of Directors were included in the definitive information statement of the corporation, copies of which are available in the corporation's website or in PSC Edge. With regard to compensation report, the directors do not receive any form of compensation except in the case of directors for a per diem of 15,000 per meeting of the Board of Directors. Each director has received a total of 60,000 pesos for 4 meetings of the Board of Directors held in 2025. Apart from the per diem in the amount of 15,000 pesos, there are no standard arrangements or other arrangements between the corporation and the directors. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Pampolina. We shall proceed to the next item, the agenda. The next item on the agenda is the consideration of the reports of the President. May I now call our President, Mr. Exequiel D. Robles, to present the report of the President. Good morning to our stockholders, member of the Board of Directors and officers,
and our honored guest. At a time when we anchor ourselves on what matters most, stability in our foundation, sustainability in our projects, and safety in our communities. This guiding principle defines how Santa Lucia Land Incorporated moves forward with clarity, discipline, and purpose. Santa Lucia Land Incorporated posted growth revenue of 9.3 billion and net income of 2.4 billion. While this figure indicates the impact of broader economic headwinds, they also highlight our ability to remain steady and fundamentally sound. Our balance sheet remains robust, with total assets increased to 7.6 billion compared to 68.68 billion in 2024. Clear evidence that investment confidence. Our performance continues to be driven by strategic nationwide focus on land banking and sustained demand for residential development outside major centers. In 2025, we expanded our footprint through acquisition and joint venture covering over 1.6 million square meters across key growth areas, including the Panarvin, Bawan and 2 in Batangas, San Felix and San Benito in Laguna, San Mateo Rizal, Gapan, Iloilo, and San Isidro, Surigao del Norte. This investment reflects our long that even in times of uncertainty, the aspiration for overall peace and community remains strong. By positioning ourselves in emerging provincial hubs, we not only support regional development but also create accessible and resilient communities for Filipino families. Beyond residential expansion, we continue to pursue commercial and mixed-use development with over 1.9 million square meters allocated for future projects. This initiative strengthens our portfolio of recurring income assets, provide greater balance and sustainability to our revenue. A key milestone for 2025 was the soft launch of Santa Lucia Mall in Davao, our new flagship development in Mindanao, featuring the created in Davao International Airport. This oriented lifestyle center served as a gateway for both travelers and local communities. With over 40,000 square meters of gross floor area and diverse mix of more than 100 tenants, the mall represents our commitment to create vibrant, secure, the future-ready commercial spaces which contribute to the large recurring income base. We are likewise honored to have received significant recognition both locally and internationally, including the following: Philippine Growth Champion 2025 by Statista for the fourth consecutive year. The two, the Global CEO Excellence Award in Real Estate 2025. And number two, distinction from the World Growth Award for two of the country's Indian workforce. These accolades affirm not only our achievement, but also strengthened of our value, excellence, integrity, and innovation. To our board of directors, management team, employees, and business partners, your dedication and hard work continue to be the foundation of our strength. And to our stockholders, your trust inspire us to move forward with confidence and responsibility. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Robles. We shall proceed to the next item in the agenda. In accordance with standard corporate practice, the next item on the agenda is the request for the ratification of all acts of the Board of Directors and the management of the corporation from June 20 of 2025 to June 18 of 2026. May I request the Secretary to discuss the proposed resolution and voting result for this agenda item?
Mr. Chairman, the list of all acts of the Board of Directors and the management of the corporation from June 20, 2025 to June 18, 2026 is being flashed on the screen. Further, the adoption of the resolution being flashed on the screen is being proposed. Of the votes cast, 100% of the shares represented in the meeting voted in favor of the resolution. Therefore, Mr. Chairman, the resolution.
Thank you, Ms. Secretary. We shall proceed to the next item in the agenda. Pursuant to the provision of the bylaws, the members of the Board of Directors will have to be elected for 2026-2027. Pursuant to amended bylaws of the corporation on the nomination procedure for the corporation independent directors, I and the President, Mr. Exequiel D. Robles, submitted signed nomination to the nomination committee. The nomination committee then pre-screened the nomination and disclosed the names of the nominees to the SEC in the corporation information statement. With regard to the 7 members of the Board of Directors of the corporation for the year 2026-2027, the stockholders submitted their signed nomination to the nomination committee. The corporate secretary is now requested to announce the nominees for the independent directors of the corporation for the year 2026-2027. As shortlisted by the nomination committee, the nominees for the directors of the corporation for the year 2026-2027.
The following are the nominees for independent directors of the corporation for the year 2027. Retired Court of Appeals Justice Renato C. Francisco and Mr. Danilo A. Antonio. The following are the nominees for directors of the corporation for 2026 to 2027. Vicente R. Santos, Exequiel D. Robles, Antonio D. Robles, Aurora D. Robles, Marisa Santos Tan, Orestes R. Santos, and Simeon S. Cua. The qualifications of the nominees are included in the definitive information statement of the corporation, copies of which are available in the company's website or on PSE Edge.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. May I request for the voting result for this agenda item?
Mr. Chairman, based on the tally of votes as confirmed by the transfer agent, Professional Stock Transfer Incorporated, the 2 nominees for independent directors and 7 nominees for directors of the corporation are declared duly elected as directors of the corporation for the year 2026 to 2027. The votes garnered by each director based on the number of shares represented in this meeting are shown on the screen. The total election votes amounted to 100%.
Thank you, Ms. Secretary. We shall proceed to the next item in the agenda. Every year, the stockholders appoint external auditor of the corporation for the ensuing year. This agenda item is for the appointment of Sisip Gores Belayo and Company as external auditor of the corporation for the year 2026-2027. May I request the secretary to discuss the proposed resolution and voting result for this agenda item?
Mr. Chairman, the adoption of the resolution being flashed on the screen is being proposed. Of the votes cast, 100% of the shares represented in the meeting voted in favor of the resolution. Therefore, Mr. Chairman, the resolution is approved.
Thank you, Ms. Secretary. We shall proceed to the next item in the agenda. We will now address the question and comments from our stockholders sent via email as stated in the guidelines of participation of this meeting available on the corporation website.
Mr. Chairman, there were no emails or questions sent before the deadline. So this concludes our question and answer portion. As stated in the guidelines, we reply to all other questions and comments by sending an email directly to the stockholders. I will now turn over the floor to the chairman.
Thank you. There being no other matter to be considered for this meeting is adjourned. Thank you for participating in the 2026 Annual Stockholders Meeting of the corporation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone, for attending the Santa Lucia Land Inc. Annual Stockholders Meeting. Have a good rest of the day. Thank you very much.